Welcome back to another PT Pearl from the Optimal Body Podcast. Why are you doing it on your face? I am Doc Jen.
I'm Dr. Dom.
And we're going to talk about massage guns, percussive tools, and what they mean, what they do, when you should use them, and when it's probably not as beneficial.
All right. I think one of the biggest tools that has been just sweeping the world of
social
sports
media
and social media and athletics is these massage guns, these percussion guns that everyone seems to love. So why don't we dive a little bit into what exactly they do and if they're any beneficial at all anyway?
I mean, it's your high frequency vibration and it's giving that percussive massage. So kind of just like that frequent high tapping.
Like the Swedish massage where they're doing a little drum roll on your back.
To kind of help massage and manipulate the tissues is essentially what we're doing.
I think really where the genius of these tools lie is within that percussion, within the vibration and how that communicates with our system. Because what's one of the really popular things that people like to say, like, oh, we're going to take this thing and we're going to blast out some scar tissue, or we're going to
break up some adhesions, manipulate my fascia.
And is that actually happening?
Is really not.
No. More so just communicates with the nervous system.
Exactly. Like a lot of the other podcasts that we've done, all using these passive treatments, passive modalities. And one thing I like that Movement Maestro said is if it's passive treatment, don't expect to have an active result.
That doesn't mean there isn't any sort of result from this passive treatment, right? So what are these things actually doing if they're not breaking up scar tissue? Well, that vibration, that pressure, that percussion that we get, it communicates with these mechanoreceptors, these things that we've brought up quite a bit before. But what these mechanoreceptors can help do is bring down some of that initial pain. It helps kind of distract that pain. The pressure and vibration that we're getting is going to distract pain. So it is something that can pretty immediately in that acute phase bring down pain, bring down soreness, or even help modulate soreness after a workout.
Imagine if just putting something on your body was going to break something up. That's a little scary. I better not run into walls or trip or fall if you're clumsy.
And some people might wonder why, okay, if it's not breaking anything up, then how am I getting increased range of motion?
Right.
Because that's one thing that we do see is increasing range of motion. But the same way that when someone does massage on us, it kind of gives us that parasympathetic drive. And some of these things like pressure and vibration actually can stimulate our parasympathetic system overall to just give us relaxation.
Yeah.
And so that'll cause us to send less activity into muscles in general, or especially if we're doing it on a local area, our brain's just going to say, hey, just relax that area. So it's going to give us a little bit more range of motion in certain muscles that we might use it on, or globally if it makes our brain happy doing this percussion massage on us.
So it's modulating the nervous system, I think, and kind of changing our sensitivity to pain. So it's not that pain isn't present or it magically makes the pain disappear. Again, it's a passive treatment, right? It's changing our perception of pain. And I think that's an important distinction because that alone shouldn't be a treatment. In conjunction with movement, in conjunction with other things, can be highly beneficial in terms of how you feel. And we do want to decrease pain in order to move, in order to get strong, in order to change movement patterns. So I think it's a huge tool that could be used. We're creating some pressure changes rapidly, right, to those tissues. And so we are going to kind of affect the different layers of the fascia. And by doing that and causing that kind of percussion in those areas, we can help to kind of stimulate some of that hyaluronic acid within the area, which will just help to increase that slide and glide between those fascial layers. Of course, that is very localized, so that's not a sympathetic or systemic response of the entire body. That's going to be very local, right, to what you just did, and it's going to be very temporary. It's not going to create a whole lot of change long term. However, in that short term, if you're trying to increase range of motion so that you can go do an exercise and have better range, then maybe,
totally.
Right? Understand that if something feels really tense, really tight, and I need to use a tool to relax that area. Remember, not break up, not release, but relax that area. Why is it feeling so tense and tight in the first place? If we're just continuing to have to use these tools, to have to rely on something passive to get this result in the moment, is that really going to make a difference long term? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah. So I know some people just love to use it because it feels good. Great. What else can we add in that might only take us a minute or two at the end of our workout to give it more lasting power?
Some people do like to use it as a warm-up then, in terms of like, oh, let me relax this tissue, increase my range of motion, and not have any negative results on my strength and my performance.
Whereas some people will say like, that's where it might be better than, say, just stretching. If you're somebody who loves to loosen up before your workout, but some people say, hey, it's not good to just passively like sit and stretch and hold stretches before you go and do weight-bearing exercise, do lifting, jumping, whatever, because it might reduce that contractility of the muscle, where this, we're going to have a little bit of extra range of motion, but it's not going to reduce that force production.
Exactly. So
hey,
could it be useful for a warm-up?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's temporary. It's not something that's going to, really impact your long-term results. Your long-term results are really going to be impacted in your breath work that you're doing. Hey, episode 11. Going to be impacted by the movement that you're doing, the variety of movement that you're doing. It's like those have a much greater impact than using a tool.
This reminds me of if you used a foam roller versus one of these percussive tools we're talking about versus some like yoga tune-up balls. They all can kind of take the same place as being that passive tool that helps you in what you do actively as a part of your warm-up or your cool down or your recovery routine.
Yeah.
Like you could use one of those, you could mix different, of those tools in throughout the week, but they all kind of give us the ability to tap into the nervous system with a passive tool. And then our caveat is always so that we can actively do something greater in our routine. Max testing. I mean, the thing that I think is you're not really wanting to create global relaxation around joints if you're looking to do some max sort of exercise or explosive stuff, then it might not be the greatest to do right before your workout or right before you do that.
Essentially, you've been warming up to this, right? You've been progressively overloading the body to understand how it moves within the range of motion it has. So now all of a sudden, if you increase that range of motion, you do a max lift, you're going into new territory that the body is, and the nervous system in general is not used to. And so it could potentially, we're not saying this is studied research, but it could make it harder and probably not advised.
You're going to make it do more work over more range. So
yeah, exactly.
That maybe would be something you do during the cool down after like a max lift or max power workout or something like that.
If our intention is to promote relaxation, is to stimulate our parasympathetic system of not causing so much like jolting stuff. Having a tool, that's why I do like the Hypervolt personally. It's quieter, where something like a different brand, I won't say, might be a little bit more jolting to the nervous system because it's loud. And if our intention is to cause relaxation and we have this huge loud thing in our ear, it might not actually be as beneficial and create the result that we want to.
Yeah. So whatever's relaxing to you. If something you like death metal music, then maybe choose the loud one.
Maybe that's true. Maybe if it relaxes your system. One more thing that we had talked about was, should you use it during a workout?
During a workout, probably not. Because if during a workout we're aiming at creating tension or doing lifts or putting tension into the muscles, like it wouldn't make as much sense right between each set to blast those muscles out and then create relaxation again. I mean, if that's what you feel the need to do, like, oh, I need to do this between every set for some reason, then you're probably doing something wrong or you're creating tension that's a little too much for your body for that workout. Of course, the optimal body helps with everything because you can find whatever workout you want for your specific body. But to kind of wrap up with these percussive tools, are they something that can benefit us? Yes. Are they something that we should rely on? No. There are certain times it might be more beneficial to use it than others when we're talking about the context of working out or recovering from exercise. So there you have it. That's what our thoughts are on the percussive tools. Let us know if you have questions about specific ones, because like Jen said, there might be a couple that we like more than others. Thanks for joining us for another episode all about your percussive tools. Let us know if you have any questions, what other topics you want to hear. Subscribe so you can see our pretty faces on all of the future PT Pearls.